Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop.
A while back, we were trying to come up with a way to get you guys t-shirts. I tried making them myself, no success. I tried shipping the labels off to Dave Chadwick and Louis McNeely, and that didn't work either. I've gone to TeeSpring and designed some t-shirts that they can sell through their site. There's a variety to pick from and some other things to look at. I put a link in the description. If there's anything you're interested in, you make the choice to buy it. Well, I got all these things strapped in here. And now I have to get them out. And that's sometimes harder than putting them in. Had to get the hook undone from the loop in the side of the truck bed. It's not always exactly easy. Now this is the last piece that we put in, so it should be the first piece to come out. Now something that I'm a little concerned about is that this motor is really loose in its mount. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be locked in there. And what I think has happened is somebody's stuck it together, not knowing what they're doing. This Allen bolt right here, that's a pivot. That's supposed to let the motor rock back and forth. But the Allen bolt is really loose. I'm surprised the motor didn't come off. But it made it all the way home. So there's hope for it. But I want to loosen this up. That's the size wrench I need. And then I can take this motor off as a separate item. That locking bolt loosened up. Should be able to spin this Allen loose. I want to get a good grip on that motor so I don't drop it. There we go. That'll let me take the motor off as a separate item, so I don't have quite as much weight to carry. Now the table itself is fairly small, fairly lightweight. There, now we got the light off.
This carriage bolt goes up through the base and lets you lock this pivot onto it. Set those two together so they don't get lost. Slip this bolt back in, put the nut back on it so it doesn't get separated. There. Well, I've got the 1055 motor separated from the base, so I can carry those two pieces separately. The motor is going to go down to the basement. I want to do some work on that and clean it up a little bit. And I'm going to take that base down. The saw filer is going to stay out here in the garage. So it's going to be a bit tight around the garage for a little while until I get things sorted out. I've got some stuff that's got to go over there. I'll make a space for the filer to sit, and then we'll see where we go with it. But for right now, I'm going to leave this stuff out here so I can get it swept off, cleaned off, make sure I don't have any bugs or other vermin eggs or something attached to it so that it doesn't end up in the house. This is the bracket for the saw mount. You use this when you're sharpening circular saws. This goes on the 1055. Got a metal pinch guard that's vibrating. We'll take this off. Don't need the extra weight. I think somebody was using that for a tool rack. Probably a good idea. Just seems a bit excessive. Trick's going to be to get this to rock up like I want it to. I think I need to set it back up in the truck and have it in there a little further when I tip it up, so that it sits up closer to the truck. There we go. That's heavy, but it seems to have worked okay. This shield has gotten bent. Doesn't look like it's going to be a real problem. Just have to take it off and give it a little twist. This little side shield here has gotten bent, but it doesn't look like it's a big problem. It's just got a kink in it right here. Must have been bumped sometime during the travels. Wasn't recent, because it's been banging on that linkage for a while. Got marks here where it's been clicking and banging back and forth. When George picked this up at the auction, the carrier bars were laying on the ground by it. And he didn't know that they went with this unit. So when he told me he didn't have the carrier bars, I was a little concerned that it didn't have all of the stuff it was going to need to sharpen handsaws. Nice thing is, these rollers right here are what the carrier bars ride on. That looks like a spring on one has been broken off. That might be something that I have to replace, because that's supposed to hold down on the carrier bar and keep it in this wheel. This is the pivot for sharpening circular saws. Even though George didn't get the carrier bars that came with this unit, I have a full set downstairs. Looks like it might just work. Something goes there and I don't know what it is. I'll have to look at the blueprints to see what's going on. And this is obviously set way too far. This should only be moving just a tiny bit. That lets the file lift, travel back, and there's a file in it and the file holders. Those are good. This is a little indicator that tells me what the rake is. Well, 2 questions answered. This is looking better and better all the time. The filer is driven by this motor.
When I rolled the unit over, I found out that
And that motor has a little friction
advance
drive wheel on it.
ball wasn't going to be engaging
What you been
the
doing,
blade.
Sadie?
It was just going to be hanging down below.
That friction drive
Now
wheel
that possibly could
is
be
missing.
something to
The little
do
rubber
with the
part is
circular
gone.
saw. I've got
So I'm
look
going to
in
have
the
to see
book.
if I can get one of those.
But I wanted to see if it was going to work with handsaws, because that was the whole idea of it. There's a bar called the joining bar.
But it looks like
There's a
whoever
pin
had this
on that
last
ratchet.
didn't damage
It's
it.
supposed to ride on that joining
A couple
bar.
of cosmetic things, a few
So I
little
flipped it
wrinkles
back
and
up so
bangs.
it ran on top of it, and it
But
seemed to be
other
working.
than that, not a problem. Putting a new shield on this is going to be the hardest thing of all the fixes, because I got to find one. I think I can pretty much get one at Walmart. It's going to be great, guys. It's going to be sharpening saws in about 1/3 the time. I still have to do the hand sharpening on them. Even though this will sharpen saws very quickly, I still have to do hand sharpening on them. This is going to get them much closer to done. I can take a saw that's not in great shape and I can bring it back to good condition with this. Then I can tune it up by doing it with it. Then I can tune it up with the hand files. We've had great luck with the 1055, minor issues with it. The saw filer appears to be in great shape. The chainsaw sharpener looks to be in good condition too. It's just going to take some tweaking. I've got to look up the book on that online and make sure I've got the angles set correctly. But I should be able to do that over the next day or two. So I'll get the 1055 cleaned up, get the chainsaw sharpener done, then we'll get them back to you. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.